The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back. Another hot episode of the Golden Boot. It's your boy Pooh. I got my man Ant Penny Murphy in the building. What's good with you, my boy?
What's up with it, bro?
Hey, another day, another dollar. Glad to be here, man. We get to talk some good sports, man. We got a lot going on. NCAA March Madness, baseball, softball, sweep, spring game or spring practice, however you want to look at it. But yeah, that's changing, getting canceled, or however you want to look at it. But man, we're gonna talk about it, man. Get into it tonight. Looking forward to it, man. It's been a minute. Would you rather? Top 5. I like the top 5 this week. Top 5 was interesting. By the way, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was gonna cheat a little bit, and I said I was gonna see what AI was gonna do. AI, help me out. You know what I'm saying? I was like, let me see if I can get, you know what I'm saying, if it's along. And then named the first one. Oh, yeah, we already had that one. Name the second one. Oh, that's a good one. Name the third one. Okay, I got that one. Give me another one. And it said the third one again. Okay, outside of that one, name another one. It said the third one again. Then I said, okay, give me another one. It said the third one. I said, look, Gemini, you done said that 3 times. You know what it said back, Ant? You're absolutely right. My apologies. And then it said the third one again. I said, you know what? We done here. We done. So all y'all worried about AI taking over your job, slow your roll. I don't think they there yet. I don't think they there. But needless to say, my list is better than AI. And it is. It's better than AI. It's funny because it's similar to yours, but I had to switch it up a little bit just so we wouldn't be the exact same. And it's a name or two that you left off. I was shocked. I was kind of shocked that you left off your list.
Off my list?
Yeah, that was a name or two, but we're gonna get there, man. We're gonna get there. But man, let's go ahead and get to it. Y'all know what we gotta do. First, gotta give a shout out to our sponsors of BetOnline. BetOnline.ag. We will be back in 1 minute. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home.
Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
And we are back. Man, let's go ahead and jump into it. LSU's baseball and softball get the sweep on the weekend, opened up conference play with the expansion of adding Texas and Oklahoma. This marks the first year that conference play for both softball and baseball starts at the same time. And it was actually, LSU softball took on Kentucky. They had I'm trying to think of, I want to say it was game 2. They had a scare. Yeah, game 2, a little bit of a scare. They went down, ended up coming back, winning that one. But they have improved to 27-1 on the season. Make sure I got that right. Yep, 27-1 on the season with the big win over, with the big sweep over Kentucky. 4-1 on Friday, 6-4 on Saturday, 8-2 on Sunday. And then LSU baseball. They got the sweep, completing the sweep today with a 9-4 win over Missouri. I'm sorry, 10-5. My bad. 10-5 win over Missouri. They actually start off Friday 12-5. Then got 7-6 win on Saturday. That was also a close one. And then a 10-5 win today. Baseball is in a 15-game win streak. The longest since 2017. The second longest since 2017, excuse me. 2017, they went on a 17-game win streak, if I'm not mistaken, before going to Omaha or going to the College World Series that year. The longest, though, is a 23-game win streak in 2008, before they ended up turning the season around, going to Omaha as well, going to the College World Series. Again, they eventually won it the very next year. But this is a good sign, Ant.
Yeah, I think
baseball and softball.
Softball, I ain't really worried about. I think they kind of clicking on our cylinders right now. And baseball, although they winning, I think they got some issues that are being masked right now, and I think against better competition, we could see that become problems. I think the pitching needs to tighten up a little bit. You know, the walks kind of getting a little high, and it just seems like they just don't really have good control at all times of their stuff. So I think the pitching could be tightened, but it's the same thing we've seen every year pretty much under Jay Johnson. You know what I mean? The pitching's been kind of here and there, except for when you had Paul Skeens. But other than that, it's been kind of here and there. You get good pitching, but then you get some moments where it's kind of like scratch your head, what's going on. But if they can get some consistent pitching like we've seen from Cade Anderson and I can't say his last name, but Saturday night.
Ayerson.
Yeah, Ayerson. If you can get some consistent stuff from them, man, I think you'll be all right. But and that bullpen got to tighten up a little bit too. We still haven't seen, Guidry or whatever, but we gotta figure out a way to be a little more shut down whenever that bullpen comes in.
Yeah, I agree. Saturday, I think Blake posted it. Saturday and Sunday, neither pitcher made it out of the fourth inning. I'm not as concerned. I'm concerned, but I'm not as concerned. It's just simply because this was the conference play, first weekend of conference play. Chase Shores is your Sunday guy. We know he battled through some things last few years, injury-wise and stuff. Ayerson, I think he's just got to find his foot. His first start, he was kind of rocky as well, but then he kind of, has looked a lot better. And I agree. Better competition is definitely going to give this team some problems. What I am encouraged by, when we were playing non-conference play, my biggest worry was we were winning in the fashion we were winning. We weren't we weren't seeing enough of the field. We weren't being able to see how good they would be. You know, how could they handle certain situations? Now we've seen it, and I think that we've got the guys who can handle backing up when your pitchers have a rocky day. I don't think that you're going to see that all the time. Guys like Schmidt. Schmidt has looked phenomenal all season. He came in this weekend and looked like a deer in the headlights. Who else? Primo. Primo has had he was up and down. He reminded me a little bit of Christian Little. You know what I'm saying? He came out, you know what I'm saying? He was looking, you know what I'm saying? He looked like you'd be like, okay, that dude finna go to the league, and then you'd be like, that dude.
Yeah.
No, you know. But I do like what I've seen out of this team thus far. I'm not as concerned, but just simply because, like I said, I feel like it's beginning of conference play. We'll see how they tighten up. This weekend, they go to Texas. This next weekend coming up, they go to Texas. That's going to be a big one. That's going to really test them, see how they perform there. So that's when I really I guess you could say I could take the all training wheels off and reservations, and really no. If they go to Texas and look just inadequate, just then I'll be worried. But other than that, like you said, we've seen this out of Jay Johnson's team. I'm not too particularly worried at this time.
Yeah, I think the pitching is the issue, but I don't think that it's like to the point to where it's, you know, this team can't reach its goals. You know what I mean? I think
Right.
they're doing everything they need to do. I just think that that's just an area that could be tightened up a little bit.
Completely agree. And I know we talked about softball, we kind of backed off. Their next games or next series, they got Georgia in Georgia next weekend. 5 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Like we said before, this Georgia team is a team that had. Oh, excuse me. This Georgia team is a team. They made the tournament last year.
They're very good though.
Yeah.
Softball should handle them fairly easily. I mean, it is a conference opponent, so you know what I mean. You can't go in the overlooking them or anything, but the way this LSU team playing right now, it's not too many teams in the country that can beat them. They finding ways to win close games. You know what I mean. When the bats get rolling and the pitching is good, they win in blowouts. Like they winning in all kind of ways. In the games where you feel like, okay, this is gonna be the game, you know, where they drop one or, you know, whatever, they find a way to pull it out. Like they really are a well-rounded team.
Yeah, they really are. This will be. I mean, I know they play some away games. They play five neutral. Well, 5 away games. 4 were a neutral site. 1 was against the host team, Cal State Fullerton. So this will be their kind of first real road test. You know what I'm saying? I expect a fairly hostile environment. I mean, as hostile as you can get, I guess, in softball. So we shall see. I'm not, again, like you said, I'm not worried about this team. They've faced some very tough opponents so far, and they've, I mean, for the most part, everybody they play, they've dominated. So run ruled or just been in control the entire game. Saturday was the only one that I could think. Well, that's not the only game of the season, but that was the only one, you know, that was really, you know, lately, I guess you could say. But man, that's it, man. Any other thoughts before we move on, man? On the
No, I just think we'll find, like you said, baseball. We'll find out a lot about this team next weekend. A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Next up, man, we got spring football. The National L Club game is no longer. Brian Kelly's quote, let's think OTAs. They're going to be changing how they're going to do the spring game. This is a string of changes seen across country, follows the trend where teams are going away from the quote unquote spring game and going to just a practice or however you want to look at it. Brian Kelly basically said this is going to be it's not really a spring game. This is just going to be another practice, OTA type, where they're just going to work situational, and it's going to allow them to not get out of rhythm of what their normal practices are. Say typically when they do the spring games, they have to take one day to discuss or to practice how they're going to do the spring game, meaning rotations and who goes in and all this kind of stuff. Said this allows them to have a normal practice and then, to get back to normal practices instead of having 13 is how he basically described it. I thought it was, I'm be honest with you. I didn't care too much for you could have called situational, however you want. It just sounds like a bunch of malarkey to me.
Yeah, I get it, but if that's the case, why didn't he do that his first year here when he had a whole new coaching staff and those two practices were more important than they are now?
Good question. What's good, DK? What's up, Chuck?
I don't know, bro. I get it. He got to give us a reason. I'm not really buying his reason. I don't really care if we have a spring game or not. I don't put much stock into it anyway. Yeah, it's fun to see it, give you a little taste of football or whatever, but it ultimately doesn't matter much in the grand scheme of what the season's gonna be.
Yeah. He did say we'll wrap up the event with an autograph session on the field in Tiger Stadium. It'll be a much more engaging event for fans with our players. We're taking a different spin on it and making it different, a different event than it's been in the past. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Cool story, bro. Yeah, like I said, I'm good. I don't care. Do I want to see plays run situational? Yeah, sure, whatever. Am I worried about tampering and stuff like that? Teams looking at our players and they doing it now anyway. If you think that somebody's waiting for your spring game to say, "Oh, look, that dude's going off. Right, I'm gonna get him in the pool," you out your rabbit ass mind. Listen, John Trey Kirkland set all kinds of receiving records in the spring one year and didn't touch the field, but until he was the quarterback in the bowl game. I don't care about spring practice, all that. Justin McMillan was QB1.
Hey, my head in a while.
He went on a rampage. And what happened in that fall? And he led Tulane to a bowl game.
He transferred.
I don't care. I mean, I care about the spring practices. I love it. This is a great opportunity. So it's good for the kids to get inside the Tiger Stadium, but it's not that big a deal. And talking about canceling a spring game, you're just renaming it.
Yeah. I feel like it's much to do about nothing, bro.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. I was going to talk about the men's bracket, but I know the women's bracket is being worked right now or coming out as we speak. So you want to move on? Let's talk briefly about this Stephen A. LeBron thing, because it's funny. So for those of you who've been living under a rock and haven't heard, Stephen A. was at this was like what, a week or two ago, the Knicks versus Lakers game, and LeBron walked up on them and basically, confronted them about comments Stephen A had made. Basically, Stephen A made reference to LeBron and Bronny, saying that this Bronny experiment is all LeBron's fault, and in a way, question his fatherhood in the event of things, saying that, saying as a father, you should let this happen and all this good kind of stuff. I thought it was. I ain't pay too much attention to it because it's Stephen A. But apparently, this has been boiling for a minute for LeBron wanting to get at Stephen A. I didn't fully watch. I got to go back and watch. D Wade and Carmelo Anthony had a podcast. They were talking about it, and the comment was, or the clip, the headline was "About Time," and they were talking about LeBron talking to Stephen A. Your thoughts on the situation?
I don't watch First Take. Let me preface with that. I'm on Stephen A's side in the sense that I feel like LeBron put a target on Bronny's back. Not by necessarily giving him a spot in the league, but by going out and saying stuff like Bronny better than half the league right now, and some of the comments he made, you know what I'm saying? Some of that kind of stuff. Like, he already gonna get negative attention and backlash because he your son. And then for you to go and say stuff like that just puts even more fuel to the fire for those people who gonna give him negative backlash. But I don't agree with Stephen A to the point to where you attacking him as a father. Like, any father would hook their child up with the best spot, with an opportunity if they could. So I feel like that's a little out of place, because if you could give your son a job in your company, you would do it. So I mean, I don't really understand why people are attacking him for that. But as a father, I understand LeBron coming at Stephen A. You know what I mean? Like, you attack my fatherhood, you attack me as a father, then yeah, I'm gonna come see you about that. But if LeBron is coming at Stephen A in defense of Bronny, I have a problem with that. Because Bronny is an NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
He's his own man.
Mm-hmm.
He don't need you coming to his defense if I'm criticizing him about basketball. If I'm criticizing him about something outside of the game of basketball, then yeah, you can come because that's your child. But if I'm criticizing him for his play, what he does for a living, then I'm treating him just like I am any of the other players in the NBA. Don't come at me for criticizing his play. You don't come at me for criticizing no other player, or you don't come at me for criticizing your play. So what makes him any different? Like, you can't have him having preferential treatment, because that puts an even bigger target on his back. You know what I'm saying? And making it worse for him than what he's already gonna have. I have a problem with Stephen A going on whatever podcast he went on.
His own, I think.
And I think he went on Gilbert Arenas podcast or somebody like that podcast too, or somebody. I don't know if it was Gil's, but it was somebody else's podcast. And he was talking about how he felt like LeBron was soft for confronting him and all this kind of stuff. Stephen A, you sat on that First Take desk for however long you've been on that show saying, I'm at the games. If anybody got a problem with what I say, you know where to find me, blah, 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 blah. So whenever the man does it, what you say, now he's soft. Like, you talked about his fatherhood, you talked about all this on air, but you want a phone call from him. Like, I just
appreciate that, Josh.
Yeah, I just feel like Stephen A playing both sides. And I'm not defending Bron, necessarily because I don't know what his intentions was for going and hollering at Stephen A. You know what I'm saying? But I say if LeBron was coming at him like, look, don't attack me as a father, blah, 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 and don't criticize my child or nothing besides basketball play, you know what I mean? Then I'm with him on that. You know what I mean? Like, stand up for your child. Like, I would do the same thing for mine. But if you got a problem with him criticizing Bronny's play, I'm not with you on that. Like, you can't have your son being out here not being criticized by people whose job it is to criticize players.
Yeah. All right. So let me go back about 4 years ago, 5 years now, I think. Freshman year of high school for Jay Sean. They had him playing quarterback. And I wasn't there. His mom was at the game. And he wasn't his best, let me put it like that. And I had to explain to her that, you know, because she was ready to get at him. She Adrian stupid. She was ready to get at him, right? And I was like, you can't do that, you know, it's turnabout's fair play, because I know I've been at games and plays have happened. And I'm careful how I work, especially a high school game, because high school games are more family oriented because it's a community, right? So you kind of careful with how you word stuff, right? Let's flash forward to last season. I'm at Houston's first game, and the starting quarterback. Now, mind you, the night before I, met the guy, met his family, saying 10 minutes, 20 minutes for the game, Dylan to talk to the family, met the family, shook hands. We all, the game's going on. The starting quarterback ain't doing well. I'm sitting in the family section, bro. So I ain't gonna say mostly. It's about 99% family in this section, right? You gotta let that go, son. You gotta throw that, son. You can't. You gotta. That shit ain't gonna cut it. You gotta let it go. Now, this is when somebody's saying they're saying the guy who's saying this is not the quarterback's father. He's I'm guessing a parent, relative, or something of another player.
Yeah.
And he's talking cash money stuff about this quarterback. And guess where the family was sitting?
Right behind him.
Right in front of him. With their jerseys on, not just the family, the mother-in-law, well, she wasn't the mother-in-law, but the girlfriend mama and the girlfriend sitting next to him. And I'm sitting, I'm not even in his family, and I'm like this. I'm listening every time something happens. I'm sinking in my seat. I'm sinking because they going. I say all that to say this: you're going to get talked about as an athlete.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. As an athlete, you're going to, if you do good, somebody gonna hate you. If you do bad, somebody gonna hate you. If you don't get in the game, somebody gonna hate you. If you get in the game, somebody gonna hate you.
If you don't get in the game, somebody gonna clown you. You know, like it comes with the territory.
It's going to be there's going, and the reason I say hate, because that's what you're going to hear a lot of. You'll hear the love, you'll see the love, but you're going to hear that hate because for some reason it's a lot louder. Yeah, it's a lot louder. The boos are a lot louder. But the problem is Stephen A took it past talking about just the game and Bronny. That's where I think the issue came in. When you start talking about Bron and he shouldn't be doing this, my question is, I get you overhyped your child. I completely understand that. Criticize them for that. But you better hold that same energy, just like you said. You better hold that same energy for LeBron getting Bronny into the league that you have for Jerry Jones bringing his son up to be the next owner of the Cowboys.
I mean, you ain't gotta go that far. You can stick with the same franchise. How Jeannie Buss get the Lakers to be the owner of the Lakers?
There you go. Very true. Very true. You have to have that same energy, but people don't. They don't. I think Stephen A got, saying, his just do getting called out at the game like that. I think he was more embarrassed than anything, though. Now that's why he on this tour of, of fence riding, one way or the other. Because on First Take, he talked about, he said, as a father, LeBron, as a father, so what you did wrong. You overstepped your bounds, but then you going out on other places talking about, oh, he shouldn't have did this and all. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. That's soft.
Yeah.
That is soft. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Stephen A has been getting clowned for a lot lately. His political views and stuff like that. So I think that all this just compounded, and I think he's just feeling a little bit more of the heat. So
I can't stand him. So
I don't. ESPN ain't the same. Now I will say this. Somebody at my boy Stokes said he hates that Stephen A continues to do these things and then hides behind, oh, it's my job to do them. No, it's not. Some of this stuff ain't your job. Yeah, you can't. Some of this ain't your job. You can't quit. I hate when people do that. Oh, it's my job to. No, it's not. Common decency takes nothing. So call it, like I said, if you criticizing the player for they play, cool. What's the guy? Magic City wing COVID. Lou Williams.
Yeah.
Lou Williams. He said that Stephen A said something. He was the worst pick or something by the franchise when he got drafted. And he said he ran into Stephen A. He was like, I'm still, He said he had that. He was ready for him. He said he ran and said, am I still the worst? And Stephen A said, I was completely wrong about you. My bad. That's cool. Move on.
Yeah.
Also, Stephen A talking about you could have called me in private. We know the same people.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't talk about that man fatherhood in private.
Oh, I mean, but look at what
Yeah. Donald Walker says, what makes it worse is they were saying a few years ago, Rich Paul reached out to Stephen A. Smith to ask him to tone it down, and LeBron wanted to meet, and Stephen A. Smith came on TV blasting them and said to come to him as a man. So, well,
what it did.
Well,
get what you asked for.
Adrian said, boy, I fumbled during the high school game and my niece was a baby then and she screamed to take my ass out. Yeah, so I mean, it'd be like that, man, especially when you're sports and stuff. Yeah, but it's just like I said, and I completely agree with you. If it's sports, keep it sports. So when you start getting personal, bringing family and stuff, that's when people tend to, want to hurt your stuff, And there are some players who are sensitive about you talking to them or talking about them. Hey, that part comes with the territory, when you're in this spotlight or whatever, or in the sports media game, that's how it is. But yeah. Next up, bro, let's go ahead and talk about the bracket. Men's bracket is out. SEC gets a record 14 teams into the tournament.
Too many.
You got Auburn and Florida are both 1 seeds, and then also Duke and Houston. Who I don't even know who's the number 1 overall seed.
I think it's Auburn, ain't it?
I think it may be Auburn. It may be. But I was looking at this. I was trying to see which team has the easiest path, which 1 seed has the easiest path.
Not Auburn.
Yeah, it's not Auburn. Ironically, I'm looking. I want to say it's Duke. Nope. Duke got Alabama, BYU, Arizona on their side. Florida got a date with UConn. You know what I'm saying? The second round looked like UConn or Oklahoma. You know, well, I mean, I ain't not so much Oklahoma, but UConn. They got Kansas, who has been up and down. Honestly, this is probably the most balanced I've seen. Houston in their bracket, they got Tennessee, UCLA, Kentucky. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
I think it's Duke though. I think Duke got the easiest bracket. It's either Duke or Houston. I mean, I'm looking at the fact that Auburn, as the number 1 overall seed, if they win, they win their first game. Their second game would be against Louisville in the state of Kentucky.
Mm.
Like that's a tough road for a number 1 overall seed. Yeah, that is, bro. And Louisville is a team that's much better than the 8 seed to begin with.
Yes, that's very true.
Then having to play them at home that's a tough work. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan State comes out of that little bracket. And then the Florida regional, Florida having to play UConn potentially in the second round, then having to possibly play a really good Maryland team. And that ain't even including St. John as a 2 seed in their bracket. That's pretty tough.
St. John, you got St. John, because that bottom half, Kansas, St. John,
the coaches,
Texas Tech.
Look at the coaches in just these 4 teams.
Yes,
you got Bill Self at Kansas, Calipari at Arkansas, Pitino at St. John's. Like and then Texas Tech ain't no bad team either, though.
Yeah, no, at all. That's why I was looking at that Texas Tech squad.
That's a tough bracket, bro. But then Duke bracket, I mean, Baylor pretty much they ain't as good this year. Oregon's always good under Dana Altman, but I don't know if they Final Four good. Arizona kind of down this year. BYU might lose in the first round to VCU. St. Mary's is a decent, but Alabama really look like the only team I could really see giving them a problem. And if Cooper Flag healthy, I don't see nobody beating them in that bracket. Houston, Gonzaga is always going to be tough, but I think Houston could beat them. But other than that, Tennessee, UCLA, Kentucky. I think Houston could beat all of them pretty handily. So, or pretty easily. So,
Texas is a play-in this bracket, bro. That's crazy.
They shouldn't have been in the tournament.
That's crazy. So,
but yeah, they shouldn't. But I think
you say they shouldn't have been in. North Carolina is a team I'm looking at. Like,
well, North Carolina only in because the commissioner over the playoff committee is the North Carolina AD. Clemson got McNeese in the first round. Will Wade is a Clemson grad.
I know.
That's possible upset. At 5-12.
Can he tie his all-time NCAA win mark this tournament?
That's probably the only 5-12 I think could happen. Looking at it this year, I don't see Michigan losing as a 5. I don't see Memphis losing as a 5.
What's the limit? most intriguing matchup. I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad. Most intriguing matchup of this first round, of the first rounds you see. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna let you answer. I know I asked the question, but this Texas Xavier play-in game gonna be interesting to me.
That's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one. Not including none of the. Well, let's see. I think the San Diego State North Carolina play-in game gonna be a good one.
Yeah. I was just, a couple years ago. Both were. One was a Final Four. Well, one was a championship winner. What was a championship game? Was it Final Four or championship game? No, they made it to the championship game.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
if you look at the first round though, not the play-ins, I think Texas A&M Yale is a very intriguing matchup. Yale is a cliche. Yale is a very smart team.
yeah.
They don't turn the ball over. You know, they're gonna do everything right. It's hard to beat them. They're not gonna beat themselves. I think, like he said, Creighton Louisville is a good one. I think Louisville end up winning that, but Creighton is a sneaky good team, and they know what to do in the tournament, bro. You know, they there almost every year. Marquette, New Mexico, another good one. New Mexico, they're a good team. I know they didn't win that conference tournament, but they still a solid team that I think people gonna kind of overlook. Kansas, Arkansas, both teams really didn't live up to expectations this year, but
championship rematch.
But they both pretty good caliber teams. You know what I mean?
Championship. It's a championship game rematch between Calipari and Self.
Yeah. UCLA, Utah State, kind of intriguing. But the BYU VCU is another one for me. I think VCU could beat them, bro.
Yeah. Let me see. I think they are set now. Let's switch over to the women's side. Yeah, to switch over to the women's side real quick. Because I hadn't even checked to see what LSU did. They get that number 2 seed?
They had 3 seed.
3 seed. Okay. All right. You got the 1 seeds of UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, and USC.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty solid there. I'm trying to see. I don't even see LSU in the Spokane regional. They'll take on if they can make it. They got UCLA.
Rematch.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm just looking at these brackets, see who has a South Carolina by far got look like the easiest bracket. I mean, the easiest path, shall I say? I'm not gonna say the easiest bracket. They have the easiest path.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, because USC got some. I mean, they got some challenging.
Texas ain't too tough.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. So Texas got Louisville, Notre Dame, TCU.
Yeah, but that's all at the bottom of the bracket.
That's true. That's very true. They'll beat each other.
They won't play them until like the Sweet 16, Elite 8.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah, I think they could beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I think Texas got a pretty easy route. South Carolina got a pretty easy route. Their toughest matchup is probably Maryland in that round. But shout out Norfolk State with the 13 seed though.
Hey, big shout out to Norfolk State. Norfolk State, men and women, both making it. If I'm not mistaken, they didn't. Was it who won it last year? It was Howard last year. What?
Yes.
Yeah,
but
shout out to Norfolk State.
LSU bracket. I don't really like it. I don't like it, bro. I'm cool with the San Diego State. I don't like the possible Florida State matchup in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
NC State again don't really scare me, but UCLA depends on how healthy Faja and Anissa are against UCLA. If they not 100%, I think we could be in trouble. But if they able to go out and give us they typical, 18, 20, whatever points a game, I think we'll be fine. But
Yeah.
it could have been worse as far as our matchups. But if we get past Florida State, I think we'll be pretty good to the Elite Eight.
Yeah. Flage has a NIL deal with Experian. For every tournament game that LSU wins, Experian will donate $100,000 to a needy family to help cover debt. So that's, I mean, shout out to them for doing that. So what are we looking at? $2,000, $200,000
for every game. Nah, they gonna. I think they're gonna. Let's see.
1, 2, possibly 3.
So they're gonna go boom.
So I can see, like you said, San Diego State, hopefully, saying Florida State, Georgia State, I mean George Mason, or most likely Florida State. Then Michigan State, Harvard, NC State, Vermont. So it'll be interesting, man. But nah, shout out to Experian for that. And I say that, saying jokingly. Of course, I hope LSU break the bank on Experian, and they help several needy Louisiana families at that. Yeah. So why they don't do that for Alabama, man? Because anyway. But yeah, man. I know we talked about some of this. The women's side is more. It's more chalk than saying. I don't really look for as many upsets on the women's side, just simply because that's just how things have been in the past. But do you have any matchups that you really like, or
on this side? On the women's side? Man,
why am I missing UConn? I'm looking for them. I don't even see
Arkansas State. They're in the USC Spokane region.
Okay, I see it at the bottom. Okay, I was like, why am I overlooking them? Okay, so
I think the Louisville Nebraska game could be good. Utah Indiana, Kentucky Liberty could be sneaky good. Michigan State Harvard. Harvard is really good. And they got what's her name? I'm blanking on her name right now, but she a bucket. So I think, man, Harvard could easily beat Michigan State in that. Harmony Turner, that's her name. But hush. I think I think they could definitely beat Michigan State in that 10-7 matchup. Baylor Grand Canyon, I think another. Grand Canyon only lost 2 games all year. So I mean, like they could surprise them, but like you say, it's a lot more chalk on this side. You don't see as many upsets until like the next weekend,
Yeah. The I want to see Norfolk State just give Maryland a game, bro. Norfolk State is so good.
I'd be good with it.
They're so good, and I just, yeah. I know. So I when I talked to you earlier, I was under the assumption we was going to do the show earlier. BCIC, the new tournament. Our good man Josh Sims from HBCU Nightly help start and works with. We're gonna do a pre-record something and put it out there. You know, talk about that. But they'll be picking. So basically, the BCIC, they have teams from the CIAA and SIAC. So basically, the two HBCU Division II conferences. You know, they're playing almost like an NIT. They'll play in that, and then on the D1 side, not two teams, but teams from the two Division I HBCU conferences will also play. So that'll be interesting. Like I said, we'll have some more information for him. We'll get that put out. They do the D1 selections on tomorrow. So
I already know who's going for the sweat.
Who that? Jackson State.
GS.
Oh, George Grambling. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it, man. You got anything else on the tournament?
Nah, man.
All right. The W, bro. I want to talk about the W real quick. WNBA possibly facing a strike.
Oh my God.
And everybody started pointing to, Angel Reese talk about a strike, and she called for a strike. That's how I know. One, reading is fundamental. Angel Reese didn't call for a strike, or didn't say. I know she's talked about it, but the way it originally happened, she had Dejanay Carrington on her show, on her podcast, and Dejanay is a one of the union reps. She's the union rep for the Connecticut Sun, and Angel asked, she said, I need to be in those meetings because I'm hearing that if the league doesn't give us what we want, we're sitting out. And Carrington replied, that's a possibility for real. And so it went from there. But there's strong possibility that there may be some kind of strike. I'm thinking that they'll probably reach some kind of agreement before the end. I'm hoping they reach some kind of agreement before the end. But your thoughts?
I hate the fact that players have access to social media, bro. Because like any other time, we wouldn't be hearing about them planning the strike beforehand. And so we wouldn't have to be subject to people saying how stupid they are, how selfish they are. Nobody likes them. Nobody pays attention to them sporting, all that kind of stupid stuff, man. I get why they would strike. I mean, they have more leverage now than they ever have had in their existence as a league. And you have to, strike while you have the leverage. At the same time, I feel like it could be counterproductive to strike while you're at your peak in terms of fandom, because you might drive away some of those same fans who are just now tuning into the game. So, I mean, I can see both sides of that. But I feel like I think that there's going to be a new TV deal, which is going to bring more revenue, which in turn is going to give the players more revenue. So I think everybody will be satisfied in the end.
Completely agree. I just hate, and it's funny because maybe it's just the algorithm. I see so much Angel Reese hate.
I muted her name on X, Twitter, whatever.
I'm probably gonna have to, because every time she misses a layup in this rival league or whatever, somebody posts it.
Yeah, I muted her name. I ain't got time for that.
It's ridiculous. And considering it's coming from people who don't even watch, and you could tell they don't watch. It's obvious people don't watch.
Mhm. But it's to the point to where her name gets engagement, so they post it just because they know it's going to get reaction.
Yeah, and that's, to be fair to Nick's point. I get what he's saying. Nick says, and not only that, but they only got one real star in the public's eye, and that's Clark right now. She's not even the best player. I mean, she is. We've gone on this talk before. It's like if somebody started watching basketball for the first time, and the first thing they say is Steph Curry is the greatest player to ever play in the NBA. He is, the way he shoots. Oh my God, he's the best player to ever play in the NBA. Now, he's a great player, but he's not the best. He's not the greatest. And people would, what I'm saying, it would start a ruckus. What I'm saying, it would start a fight amongst NBA purists, real NBA fans, and stuff like that. And just like Caitlin, some people would say Steph Curry is running the game. So, and people could kind of say the same thing about Caitlin, but it's, if you don't have an appreciation for the actual game of basketball, or actually watching the women's game, it's crazy to me that people just but that's, and you said you hate that players have access to social media. I hate social media has as much access to players.
That's fair.
So yeah. NFL free agency. Bro.
It's been wild, bro.
I made the mistake. ESPN asked me, hey, the app, hey, would you like to be notified of all these free agencies, things, Sure. I hit the button, sure. And my phone goes off all the time with all these free agency moves. Adam Schefter is, I'm gonna have to change his name to Pizza Hut in my phone, bro, because I just all kinds of just get hit up at different times. Just some of y'all will understand that, Anyway, but it's been so wild. I'm gonna pull up some of the actual moves that have been made. Cooper Kupp
Going back home.
going to Seattle, signed with Seattle on a 3-year deal. I'm trying to see. That was another one that was just threw me for a loop. Geno got traded.
Yeah, but that makes sense though. If you look
it does.
That makes sense.
Going, reuniting with Pete Carroll.
But then if you Sam Darnold, why would you go? I mean, now you got Cooper Kupp, but you ain't really got nobody to throw to other than Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Well, they got JSN, I guess, in Jigba.
Yeah. The Cowboy savior for the last few years is now a Baltimore Raven. Cooper Rush is now the backup to Lamar Jackson.
The Colts got a new quarterback, Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Devontae Adams is with the Rams now.
Yeah, that's a solid pickup though for them.
It is. Yeah.
Here's to the Jets for some strange reason.
I don't know.
The 49ers done lost a whole bunch of stuff though.
And added one person.
Yeah, they added what's his name? DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
They lost Greenlaw, they lost Kinlaw, they lost Ward, they lost Debo, they lost Juszczyk.
Is Ayuk still there?
Yeah, he's still there, but he coming off injury.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jamar Chase got paid. I'm talking about paid.
Mm.
4 years, $162 million.
That's crazy. What about because I know they were trying to work out a deal with
T.
T.
Higgins.
Yeah, T.
Yeah, I
Higgins
think
as well.
they paid him too. He getting like $30 million a year or something.
Yeah.
They
They
paying like
letting,
$70 million a year for them too.
but they letting
They letting Hendrickson walk.
here.
And yeah, stupid, stupid, stupid.
Mm. Nick said, "Do y'all think Debo is good? I think he all right. I think
Yeah,
he's
what
I think he'll fit in nice in Washington.
I think he'll be good on them little jet sweeps but I think Buddy is he a gadget player to me. I don't think he's a legit like receiver. I think he just needs the ball in his hands in space type guy. No, not you know what I mean, but he's just dynamic with the ball in his hands in space. But I don't think it's easy to get him the ball 15, 20 yards downfield. You know what I mean?
Black Taysom Hill.
Nah. Nah. I'm thinking like a heavier, more weighted, like stockier Percy Harvin. Like that's what I'm
Oh
thinking.
yeah. I can see that. That's good. That's actually a really good comparison. But speaking of free agencies, you ready for top 5?
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this week's top 5. Hold on, let me fix this real quick because I want to make sure we how I take it off. I don't even know. I'm looking for some how to remove the name so don't worry about it. Forget it. All right, this week's top 5. Top 5 worst NFL free agency moves. And you up first? You ready?
Right. Yep.
Starting with your honorable mentions.
All right, my honorable mention, DeMarco Murray to the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming off what he did in Dallas, that boy was supposed to be a dog. Not quite. My next honorable mention, Brock Osweiler to the Houston Texans. They paid that boy a bag coming off what he did with the Broncos, and that boy was garbage juice, man. That boy was terrible. All right, and unfortunately, I had to bring this one up, man. Jairus Byrd to the Saints, man. Honorable mention, but we made him the highest paid safety. We let Malcolm Jenkins go. And the boy ain't do nothing. The boy ain't do nothing with us. Just because of how much we paid him and who we let go, he got to make this list, bro. He was terrible. He was terrible. All right, number 5. He in the news for some other stuff now, but Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell to the Jets. This man sat out thinking he was finna get a big payday. Didn't even really get a bag and didn't really do nothing with the Jets. Le'Veon Bell to the Jets at number 5. At number 4, he got a statue in Philadelphia, but nobody even remember him as a Jaguar. Nick Foles to the Jaguars at number 4. Coming off Super Bowl appearance, that dude ain't do nothing with the Jags. He was terrible. At number 3, the dream team in Philadelphia. They signed Nnamdi Asomugha from the Oakland Raiders. And I don't even know if he played a full season with the Eagles, man. He was so terrible with them, man. Switching schemes wasn't for him, man. Nnamdi was terrible in Philadelphia. Nnamdi Asomugha to the Eagles, number 3. At number 2, coming off an injury, you give him a big old bag, and then you draft the quarterback at number 8 overall in the first round. And then he don't even play one full season with you before getting benched for said rookie. Now you paying $150-something million for a backup quarterback, Kirk Cousins, to Atlanta. Terrible decision. Terrible decision. And number 1, this is the worst one of all time. Albert Haynesworth to the Redskins. Oh my God, this was such a disaster, bro. Masterclass of disaster. The amount of money he got, the lack of production, the locker room canceled. It was literally a science experiment gone wrong, bro. Worst free agent signing ever.
Yeah. All right, that was your top 5. My top 5. All right, let's start with my honorable mentions. What makes this one bad? Desmond Howard. What makes this one bad is not so much that Desmond Howard, was just terrible, but the Raiders did it for a consecutive season. They signed the Super Bowl MVP from the previous season only to do nothing. Nothing. Couldn't find production in the return game. Could get on the field as a wide receiver. What was a somewhat decent, I guess, career end up being just terrible. My next honorable mention: Jeff Garcia with the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
Jeff Garcia had an amazing season, or I ain't gonna say amazing, but he had a solid run with the San Francisco 49ers. Got a nice contract in Cleveland, 4-year, $25 million for at that time was great because this was 2004. He only played 10 games, and then he was shown the door.
To be fair. He went to Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of Cleveland, Andre Rison.
Yeah.
1995.
Yeah.
Andre Rison coming off a solid career in Atlanta, went to Cleveland, didn't even finish the season. And to make matters worse, end up going to Green Bay and getting a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Andre Rison, ladies and gentlemen.
Was never the same after his house burned down.
R.I.P. Left Eye. Le'Veon Bell. I had to throw him in there as well. You've already mentioned everything about him, so I ain't gonna say go on. But this one was actually a great idea, but Ndamukong Suh to the Dolphins in 2015.
Yeah.
He could never give them production because he was in trouble all the time, suspended.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed with the Dolphins, I think, 2 or 3 years, but yeah, that one was that was a sign of what was to come. I think at the time when they signed him, they made him the highest paid defensive player.
He was coming off some good years in Detroit.
In Detroit, yes, he was. But again, trouble. He can never get over. All right. Number 5, Adam Archuleta to the Washington football team. This was in 2006. Super Bowl winner. All great safety. He was the highest paid safety at the time. He ended his career. He played, I think, 2 seasons, and that was it for him. After this, at number 4, you already mentioned him, Nnamdi. I threw him in there as well.
Terrible.
2011. Listen, I thought he was it. Dream Team. This man was married to Kerry Washington, ladies and gentlemen. Has started an acting career as well. And I was like, Nnamdi is winning. He wasn't. The Philadelphia Eagles, I think at the time with him was hold on, because I have it here.
They were ass.
They were in his 3 seasons there. They were 12 and 20. I'm sorry, 2 seasons. They were 12 and 20. And he left there, went to San Francisco, but never really played again.
Oh.
All right. And number 3, I know this is gonna shock you, Ant. I got Albert Haynesworth. You already spoke about him. Yeah, he's number 3, and it's
Okay.
I think he's deserving of number 1. He's number 3. I flip-flopped him. You've already talked about everything with Haynesworth. I flip-flopped him with Kirk. I had Kirk at my number 2. The reason why I had Kirk at number 2 and Haynesworth was bad. Yes, I get it. Terrible. Kirk number 2, he got paid, didn't finish the season, and they drafted a quarterback. What sense did that make to draft a quarterback after you just signed a quarterback for a huge deal? And it's crazy. Before the draft, I don't know if you remember when they signed him, Atlanta staff and people were talking about, oh, this is a great move. We finna do this. You know what I'm saying? Kirk is the man, blah, blah, blah. And this is how, I mean, he's returning to Atlanta this season, but we've seen that. Yeah, as of now. My number 1, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers got paid $75 million, bro. Played one snap the first season.
They played 4 snaps. Be fair.
Oh, sorry. Okay, he played 4 snaps, 1 series. He was hurt. Injuries happen. I can't, but they had coaches fired. They had GM. They had players moved. They brought in Devontae Adams.
Yeah. And Adams Lazard.
Yeah, nothing. And he is now unemployed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's finna be a Steeler. Or a Viking.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my
I ain't mad at it. I ain't even think about Aaron Rodgers, honestly, but I ain't mad at it. You could have put Brett Favre on the Jets also. I
could have put Brett Favre. I almost put Mike Vick, but Mike Vick actually was somewhat productive with the Jets.
He was pretty good.
He was somewhat productive. There was somebody else on there that I almost put Vince Young to the Eagles when in 2011. I thought about that one too. It's funny. It was a lot of people from that 2011 Eagles dream team I was gonna throw on there, but then I was like, but Jeremy Maclin was good.
He was all right.
He was a fantasy football
yeah.
Major contributor. But yeah, so that's it. All right, man, we're doing this a little different this week because you got the would you rather question.
Yep.
So without further ado, would you rather?
All right. So most of these is based off like stuff that's kind of going on in the news lately or whatever. So
gotcha.
Would you so John Shire at Duke got a chance to win a national championship as a head coach for the same school that he won the national championship for as a player.
Ooh,
so would you rather win the national championship as a player or a coach?
I say as a coach. If you win it and the reason why as a coach, I think you have more of a contribution because you have more hands-on in the say than you do as a player. As a player, I might not necessarily be in the game. I might not hit the winning shot, but if as a coach, I call that play. As a coach, you know what I'm saying? I so I would rather be winning as a coach.
Yeah, I see that point, but I say as a player because, and like I'm thinking of like college or high school or whatever, you know what I mean? Like you only get like 4 years, you only get like 4 opportunities to win it. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like you could coach for 30 years, you know what I mean? Like, but you're only playing for probably 4 or 5 years, you know. So
that's fair.
Give me a chance to win it as a player, because that means I was in 4 years I was one of the best, and not one of the 30 years or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather break LeBron's 50,000 point scoring record or Curry's 4,000 3-point record?
Give me the 50,000. Cause I could do it with them using them 4,000 3-pointers. But not see, but in all actuality though, I probably say 50,000 because you got to play a little bit. You got to play a long time to do that. I think the next closest person to Steph is James Harden. I think he's like 800 or so behind him. 800 or so 3-pointers behind him. And they hadn't been playing in the league that long. So if I break that 50,000, I'm pretty sure I'm probably breaking a lot more records on top of that because that's more of a long
in the league for a pretty long time though.
Say what now?
James Harden been in the league for a long time though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I feel like both of them are a longevity record.
Yeah, that's fair.
One is just like all around, and one is like a specialist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But I give me the 50,000, because not everybody shoots threes, but everybody scores points.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, would you rather be a legendary high school coach or try your hand at a higher level and be an average coach in college?
Yeah, give me the legendary high school coach. You've got this goes back to something we talked about before. You got it's some legendary high school coaches who I'll say this. I think it's some legendary high school coaches who've had more success as far as getting players to the league than average college coaches and stuff. Plus, you've got a lot of stadiums and streets and fields named after a lot more legendary high school coaches than you do some mediocre average college coaches.
The only reason I would take an average college coach is for the money.
I knew it.
But I would rather be a legendary high school coach.
Yeah.
Like you said, they name stadiums and stuff after you when you legendary high school coach.
Facts.
So this kind of a similar question. Would you rather be a superstar coach at a small school like Rick Pitino, or would you rather be an unknown coach at a blue blood school like Mark Pope at Kentucky?
Ooh. It's hard. And this is gonna be a little bit different. Give me the relatively unknown, and it's the reason is simple. As good as Rick Pitino is, he don't have near as many resources right now than Mark Pope. Give me Mark Pope because I can bring him in, and I can my mic can get up there.
That's true. But also Rick Pitino, if he don't win, ain't nobody calling for his job neither though.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, some of these might not. You ain't really necessarily a Saints fan, so you ain't really gonna care about these questions. But
fire Mickey Loomis. Is that the question?
Would you rather the Saints draft Arch Manning or the Pelicans draft Cooper Flag?
Oh, give me the Saints and Arch Manning. Give me the Saints.
Bro, that story is gonna boy like.
Yes, so it's gonna be irritating. I'm gonna get tired of hearing it. But I would rather see them bring in a quarterback that is I think can be transcendent.
Yeah.
I think Cooper Flag is good.
This is my thing. I agree with Arch for multiple reasons. For one, like you said, Cooper Flag is generational or whatever, right? But the Pelicans have had multiple generational guys and never really done nothing with it. So the Saints haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round in 50-something years since Arch Manning.
Mm-hmm.
If they was to end that streak by drafting Arch Manning, that storyline in itself is crazy.
Right.
Just the hometown hero type situation, coming to save the franchise type. You know what I mean? Like then the merchandise and all that kind of business aspect of it is genius as well. But at the same time, it's like the Saints have never really had that homegrown. Like, yeah, we signed Drew Brees.
Fair. That is true.
Brees as a free agent. You know what I mean? But the Saints have never really had that homegrown. We drafted this guy. He's our quarterback. We groomed him. He's our quarterback type guy. And forever. You know what I'm saying? So like he would be something the Saints ain't had in a while, and he'd be the perfect guy to do that.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, that was a good one though.
All right. Would you this is based off the NFL draft. This current NFL draft. Would you rather be the star of a bad draft or a good player part of a draft?
You said a good player part of what now?
Or a good player part of a legendary draft. Like, would you want to be part of like the 1996 NBA draft, or would you want to be like in the Giannis in the Anthony Bennett draft? You know what I'm saying? Like,
give me the legendary draft, because there are some drafts you look at and you be like, they had, because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't like Steve Nash, Dirk, Kobe, all the, that draft, and then like you said, then you got some drafts you be like, you can't name a person. I want to be in a draft where I'm named amongst those greats that I want to, you know what I'm saying? When you think of Chris Bosh, you know,
you think of Melo, you think of
Wade, Bron, you know what I'm saying?
David Wilson's in that class.
Darko Milicic. The only reason I know that name is because the Pistons passed on Melo to get him. If he was in the class with some of these other, I wouldn't even know who the dude was.
But like to your point, David West went picked like 15 or something in the 2003 draft.
Yeah.
I think Boris Diaw was in that draft, if I'm not mistaken. You know, like it's good players in that draft that nobody even remember because of that.
Sam Bowie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. I like that.
Would you rather be great at two different positions or the best ever at one position?
We did this one, didn't it?
I don't know, did we?
We did about the GOAT. No, that was two different sports. That was two different sports. Okay, so would you Travis Hunter, or would I rather be
or like Ohtani? Would you rather be Ohtani and be elite at two different, or would you rather be Barry Bonds and be the greatest of all time at one position?
I'm be honest, bro. I'm a multitasker. If I can be elite at two different, you know what I'm saying, positions, I probably would take that. I understand I'm not, you know what I'm saying, you're the GOAT of one, but if I can be elite at two different ones, I think that puts you in a different realm, bro.
I agree. I feel like Ronald Acuna is great. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that Ohtani's doing what he's doing pretty much and excelling at another part of the game makes him on a different level. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like
the legend of Babe Ruth was so big because they talked about his pitching and his hitting, even though he only pitched for like 1 or 2 years, something like that.
Yeah, he didn't do it at the same time like Ohtani doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of baseball, would you rather hit for the cycle or pitch a no-hitter?
Oh shoot. How many no-hitters are in the let me ask this.
I got you. In MLB, there's been 326 no-hitters, and there's been 348 players have hit for the cycle.
So it's still that don't even help. Give me a no hitter. Give me the no hitter.
Yeah, I feel like it depends. This question depends on if you're team oriented or if you're individually oriented. Because for a no hitter, it takes the whole team. You know what I'm saying? It takes the defense behind you. It take all that. You know, a cycle is just individual performance. You know what I'm saying? So I would take the no hitter just because I want my teammates to be involved in it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I'm taking a no hitter just simply because I think I know if I do a no, if I have to pitch a no hitter, I've impacted the game to the point
more
where
than the cycle.
more than the cycle. If I hit for a cycle, but we getting tore up, and
But that's the thing. You can hit for the cycle and technically only drive in one run.
Exactly. So if I hit throw for a no hitter, all we need is one run. So
yeah.
It's funny because there has been a no hitter.
There's been no hitters where they don't walk people in errors or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
So
especially in Little League, them pass balls and all that Little League.
Yeah, there was one in the MLB where it went to extra innings, and in extra innings they put the people on second base, and so they lost because of that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah.
All right, would you rather be the fastest guy or the strongest guy?
Let me be the fastest. You can't teach speed.
I was just about to say, let me be the fastest. Speed kills, bro.
Yeah, you can't teach speed.
Speed kills, man.
I can lift a lot of weights and I've seen people with, and I know I talk about Jay Sean a lot. A lot of coaches never talked about. They talked about, oh, he's strong, this, that, and the other. What they really talked about, really wanting, was his speed. So you can't teach that. So
All right, would you rather your coach call you out like in a press conference, or your teammate call you out on a podcast?
Give me the press conference. Not many people pay too much attention to them. People talk about the press conference all the time.
Your podcast be getting millions of views.
Yeah, give me the press conference. Yeah.
All right.
Especially if we lose, people don't go there.
Yeah. Would you rather be guaranteed a starting job on a bad team or compete for a job on a playoff team?
Give me the playoff team all day. I done been on bad teams and played, and I'm like, can I just go to the bench? Can I just go to the bench for a good team? Let me get in the game every now and then. Shoot.
So that's what my question for Aaron Rodgers, because not Aaron Rodgers, for Russell Wilson, because you could probably go back to Pittsburgh and be guaranteed a spot. You know what I'm saying? You could probably go to New York and be guaranteed a spot. You go back to Pittsburgh, they probably gonna draft a quarterback. You probably gonna have to compete for it. Same with Aaron Rodgers. You can go to New York, guaranteed a spot, or you can go to Minnesota and compete with JJ McCarthy. Like, which one would you? But I'd rather the playoff team.
Yeah.
All right.
Bro, if Aaron Rodgers go to Minnesota,
it's the Brett Favre.
It's the Brett Favre path. Go ahead, I'm listening. That's crazy.
Would you rather have to ceremoniously retire or get fired embarrassingly, but you get a buyout? If you retire, you save face. You go out on your own.
Yeah, that's why I say give me my dignity, man. Let me. Money can't buy. You know what I'm saying?
Everything. You go out on your own. It don't. You know what I'm saying? Don't look like you've been pushed out. But
because if I retire ceremoniously, them return speaking gigs. Them,
you
I'm
might
good.
get
Yeah.
a little spot in the athletic department or something. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. I like it.
I think that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got.
That's a good one, man. That was a good one. I appreciate it. I like being on the other side of that, man.
Yeah,
All right. All right, we are at the top of. That's it, pretty much. Get ready to wrap up, man. I know we're gonna take a little bit of a break. We got some stuff we're working on some our women's history documentaries stuff. We'll be putting out probably do some pre-recorded stuff, put out some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Probably a little quick hitters. We'll be back in. I got work stuff going on, so but yeah,
hey,
we'll be
next Sunday, I got a 4-year-old, cuz. Next Sunday,
man. Little bam, little
crazy, man.
that's great. Hey, speaking of, you have been proud of your boy today. Deal. They had because it rained and stuff. We had bad storms yesterday, so they had baseball practice today. He hit. So he got back. He was batter, he was pitcher, and he was catcher.
Oh no, he can keep that catching thing. I could never do that, boy.
And because I kept telling him, I was like, your knees are. And I looked at him, he was straight. I said, what's wrong? He said, my knees. I said, I told you. He said, I'm all right though. I'm all right. But now he was pitching like it was rough in the beginning, but he you know what I'm saying, he got up, you know, so all right then. So I see you. Little
So little Pedro Martinez, huh?
yeah, he was trying to do a little thing, man. Mike Piazza and I'm trying to think who he pitched like. What's the dude for the Cardinals that was Scott Ankle, who they had to put him in the outfield because he was throwing it so crazy. He was throwing it so crazy. They put him in the outfield. He was throwing people out. But nah, man, he did good, man. I was proud of him. I'm gonna have to get. I told him we were gonna get out in the backyard and throw it around and stuff, so I can work on his catching and stuff. His hitting though. Hey, that money well spent on that on the hitting coach, because
Okay.
once we he got a that's sweet.
We done stepped up from Ichiro, and we done got a little bit more power into the game now.
We're not Ichiro. We probably we ain't quite Trout. We probably somewhere in between. Maybe Freddie Freeman or something like that.
That's a monster right there, man. You talking about a monster?
He's
Freddie
Mookie or somebody. Well, he can hit that thing, you know. You know what I'm saying? He got the
maybe a little Jazz Chisholm.
I like that. I might have to go. I might have to. Matter of fact, let me go old school. Javi Lopez.
Okay, yeah, for the break. Okay, yeah, catcher.
Yeah.
Okay,
Catcher in there. You know, so get out there and hit it. So yeah.
Joe Mauer.
Yeah, he was doing good. He was they gave him. They said, hey, use it, coach. Use this bat. He was like, but see, today was different though. Because normally when they do batting practice, the coach is pitching.
Yeah.
They let the kids pitch to the kids.
Oh, Lord. Wow.
Listen, it's one little boy got hit 4 times. Hey, he got hit so much, I started crying. I was like, just don't hit me no more, man. Hey, that little boy got hit. Hey, that little boy, he couldn't even get in the batter's box no more. He got hit so
look, my first at bat and kid pitch, I got hit by the fastest kid, the dude who threw the fastest in the league. He hit me right on my hip. Next time it was time for me to go up, I sat so far back in the box because got struck out on 3 pitches.
This little boy, they was asking, they said, what you think he throw? Dude said by 45. They said, no, he throw faster than that. Little boy pegged him. Wow. I was like,
man, look, the little dude who hit me threw about 58, bro.
Yeah,
I'm playing them up. Hit me, boy. It took me about two weeks before I could get back in. I had PTSD, man. For real, bro.
Yeah, man, it's serious, bro. It's serious out here. Yeah, man. We'll be back. Like I said, we might have to do like a pre-record, you know what I'm saying, throw something out there so people can enjoy while we're on this little hiatus. We didn't even talk about I mean, we talked about the spring game. We didn't talk much about like what we seen from practice. I know it's been, you know what I'm saying, stuff put out there.
Nothing. I ain't seen nothing because I ain't been looking.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it this year, bro.
DJ Pick 6.
Not doing it. Not paying attention to nothing that happens before August 31st. Not doing it.
All right, man. Let me go ahead and get this music so they can start we copywriting again.
Hating that.
Man, it's like we got a subscription. We can play this.
Okay, bye.
Bring a notification on. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, share. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like that, we out.
This show is presented by betonline.ag.
Bring me my money.
You can find the Golden Boot Podcast on YouTube at Golden Boot. On Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On Facebook at the Golden Boot Pod. On TikTok at Golden Boot. Or listen on all streaming platforms. Golden Boot!